The single biggest mistake spreadsheet sellers make is that they sell spreadsheets because spreadsheets are not sold, they're bought. Hi, I'm Andrew. I run BetterSheets.co. I sell tools, templates, and tutorials for Google Sheet users. And I don't just sell a membership. I actually do sell spreadsheets myself. And here's my Gumroad analytics. I sold over the last 3 years. I sold actual templates and I made about $8,000. These are all the types of products I've made. I've created freebies like Big Year, which people do give tips and stuff. I've sold products like Coupon Code Maker, which is AppScript inside of a Google Sheet. Hot Hooks, which is a AI generator inside of a Google Sheet. Sell Daily, which is a list of 366 words. I just upgraded that to include AI. I created a free escape room inside a spreadsheet called Escape Spreadsheet Help. I've even created templates like Atomic Sheets and Track Anything and Bad Habit Tracker like Dark Habits. I've sold all kinds of different templates and tools inside of Google Sheets, even Only Sheets. It literally creates a paywall when you're trying to sell Google Sheets. After selling my own spreadsheets and also giving a lot of tips and tricks to other people who are selling spreadsheets, I don't just make your spreadsheets better for yourself, which I do. I try to help people make their life inside of spreadsheets better, but I also help people who are selling spreadsheets themselves. And honestly, this is just the number one easiest mistake to do. We say we are selling a Google Sheet, and this Google Sheet that we're selling happens to solve a problem. I think the problem of this is that nobody really buys spreadsheets. They're always trying to buy a solution to a problem they're having. If you're running a business or you're running your own life or you're running a household, no matter what, you have problems and you want to solve those problems. And I think the best way to tweak this mindset of selling a spreadsheet that solves a problem is to merely flip it around and say, here's a solution to your problem that just happens to be a spreadsheet. Here's an example of a landing page that I created that is a Google Sheet. I will admit right now to you, Only Sheets is a Google Sheet that I sell. It describes this problem here. Easily connect your spreadsheet to a payment processor without sharing your sheet to anyone with link. It integrates with a bunch of stuff. I tell you how you can monetize your expertise. I even give 100 free ideas here. It doesn't just give access to Google Sheets. It also allows you to sell Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Drive folders. And it takes a long time for me to admit that it is a spreadsheet that you're buying. This is an entire landing page that doesn't say it is a spreadsheet for sale. Whereas if you look at something like Etsy, where people are selling spreadsheets, this is a very common problem on Etsy. There are always screenshots of Google Sheets when you're selling a Google Sheet. The only visual representation of a Google Sheet is a Google Sheet. We see this over and over again. To-do lists, Google Sheet, everything is a screenshot of a Google Sheet. You know you're buying a Google Sheet here. Even a fancy Google Sheet is still a Google Sheet. We also see this example on Teachers Pay Teachers. Here's this third example, Google Sheet Activities Battleship for Computer Science. It's practicing working with spreadsheets, and it is a spreadsheet battleship activity, but like, do they really have to say Google Spreadsheet Activities here? Learn computer science through playing Battleship. That might be a better way to sell this, is that you're going to learn computer science by playing Battleship. Here it says Excel gradebook for standards-based and traditional grading. This could be just the best gradebook I've ever used. It happens to be an Excel spreadsheet. Like, you don't really even have to say the word spreadsheet at all. Here, the complete spreadsheet bundle. In here, it says it's a communication log, IEP caseload. These are all keywords that if I was looking for an IEP caseload to buy, I wouldn't necessarily see this right away. That's the mistake people make, right? They say, this is a spreadsheet for sale that happens to solve this problem. And the fix, or the quick fix, is to say, hey, I'm solving your problem, and it just so happens to be a spreadsheet. I go a lot deeper into selling spreadsheets in my course, Selling Spreadsheets, but I want to give you a little bit more here. What I want to say about your landing page and how you sell a spreadsheet is that what you can do in order to mention that it is a spreadsheet and also sell the solution is talk about your journey in solving the problem that you solved, because you created this spreadsheet for a reason. You're using it, or you've made it for someone you know, and you solved the problem. Talk about that problem. Talk about all of the ways you could possibly solve that problem, maybe some expensive software or some very complicated series of tasks, and talk about how there are solutions, and these are the solutions. They might be too expensive or they might take too long. You came up with this solution of a spreadsheet, and then at that moment that you express that on your landing page, I created a spreadsheet to solve this problem, the buyer is going to have a decision on hand. They're going to say either buy this or build it. It's a Google Sheet. So I could probably learn the exact same skills that this person learned. And so what you want to do then is go and describe all of the features and the benefit of each of those features of everything that you built into it. You don't necessarily just have to say, this took me 10 hours to build. You can still talk about all of the benefits that this solution in the spreadsheet has, but talk about it in a way of like, I had to learn AppScript to script the automations. I had to set up an API. I had to design this spreadsheet in a certain way. And so as you're talking about all of these features and the benefits they have in the Google Sheet, that person is now going through that decision again and again and saying, okay, I think I'll just buy this. Okay, I think I'll just buy it. I think it's worth it. I won't build it myself. This sounds very complicated, but this person has made it very easy for me to do in a couple clicks. Okay, I will buy. And so you can map that user journey on your sales page, and it's literally your actual story, and it salespeople who are going through the same pains you had. And so it's walking through the problem, and it keeps mentioning, oh, and it's this spreadsheet that is the solution. That I think is going to be one of the best sales pages you could ever write, and it's going to be very simple to write. You don't have to figure out some persuasive marketing tactics. Just explicitly talk about the user journey that you went through, what you did to build this, how you benefit from this, and it just happens to be a spreadsheet. But here is the solution to all of your problems. I think that could make the best spreadsheet sales page. If you're interested in more, I do have a course called Selling Spreadsheets. It's available at bettersheets.co. This course is available in monthly membership. If you want to buy the course separately, you can buy that on udemy.com. I have a link down below. When you buy a membership to BetterSheets, you get tutorials, generators, and courses all included for one price per month.